What's going on, collectors? Optical 20 back for another video review. Today we're going to take a look at the Asmus Collectibles Hobbit Thorin, and you can purchase this figure directly from Asmus or at Big Bet. I'll put both links down below. First and foremost, I want to get this out of the way. This was sent out by Asmus. I want to thank them for allowing me to review this figure, but in no way, shape, or form that they are telling me what to say about this figure or anything. Anything that I say on this review is purely just my opinion, and just letting it all right now. I love Lord of the Rings, as you all know. So yeah, so that's out of the way. Let's take a look at the box. It's a nice box. It has the image of Thorin in the front. The Hobbit is embossed, so if you were planning to put this as a backdrop, it is very much nice to do so. And also, if you are if you don't want to, you can store the box. It doesn't take up a lot of space as usual. This is what I love about Asmus, is the width or the thickness of their box is just awesome. It's beautiful for keepsake. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't occupy too much space. But here you go. This is a guy. He has this plastic covering in him, in his plastic cage, and that's pretty much it. And let's take a look at the accessories. He comes with assortment of hands, and let me tell you something about this. I've been with Asmus. I've been reviewing Asmus collectibles for years now. I went back all the way to my Saruman review, which is my first Asmus. That was in 2016, and they've come a long way. And look at these hands right here. They're top notch. I remember my first figure with them. It was a little bit rough paint wise, but I'm gonna sound, repetitive here, but it just sounds like every time I review another Asmus figure, it's their best figure. I've been telling this for a while now. I can't wait for their Gandalf Crown series, because I think that will be the best figure that I've ever held. Plus the price point is ridiculous. It's only like $350. But going back to this figure, I mean, it does come with decent amount of accessories. You got the pipe, you got the key of Erebor, which is right here. It's in plastic. It's not in die-cast, but still, I just want to show you the level of detail. It is insane in here with this small key. And you would think that they would throw in a plastic thing and just call it a day, but there's like some markings inside of that, the body of that key and his pipe. It's amazing what they do. It really is. And if you come here, you got his elvish sword, or no, this is the dwarf sword. This is not die-cast. This is made out of plastic, but still, you got this fine details on this sword as well. So this is a bit lighter compared to the Orcus, the one that he does have on his back. And you can see even the edge here of the sword, that little corner right there. You can see that there's like a cross in there. Beautiful, and just the level of attention to detail is second to none when it comes to this accessories. One thing I want to say about Asmus is their accessories and their outfit is always top notch. Always. You can't say nothing about those things. With every figure, no exceptions whatsoever. Plus, for the most part, they always do die-cast. But like I said, I mentioned it in other reviews as well of them. Having a die-cast sword is a big plus for me. It's not required, so I do appreciate that they go out of their way. And look at this Orcus sword right here. Look at the level of details in here. This is just amazing. Look at that. Even the handle itself, it does come with that kind of like worn out pattern, because as you know, they picked up this sword somewhere along the way, at least on the first Hobbit movie. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but you can see here, this is die-cast, so you get that feeling where it's heavy, and not too heavy though, not too heavy. It's heavy, and the premium feel is just there. And look at the scabbard, it is just beautiful. You can on that side, and you can see the level of detail, the elvish detailing on it, and then the wooden paneling on the scabbard itself. And this one's made out of rubber, which I highly agree upon, because if this was pleather, and because the sword is heavy, so by using a rubber, it would because the sword is a bit heavier, it would put stress if it's like pleather over time, and it might deteriorate. But using this type of material ensures that over time it would still hold up. And looking at this one as well, this is his oak shield, where that's why he's Thorin oaken shield. This is beautifully done. As you can see, the paint application looks like it's real wood. There's some grunge details on it. Just the clarity is just amazing. And also on the back, you can see those straps. They're also made out of rubber. Now they look pleather again. I just have bad experiences with pleather, so I'm glad that they're using. This is tough rubber as well, so this one wouldn't like peel or just break on you over time. I love the fact that they went that route. And also for the base, as you can see, it says The Hobbit. They kind of put in the 1/6 collectible now in there as well. But one thing I would say about this stand though, it is better than the Gimli stand that I got. I don't know if it's better or is it the same. I don't know, but it seems like it does fit him better, because you got to remember, they are dwarves, so they're a little smaller. And you know, let's take a look at his body. Look at those level of details in his outfit. Now I removed the coat specifically for Thorin here, so you guys can see and appreciate the level of detail that it comes with this outfit. You saw that earlier, embroidered in his pants, and going up here in his cloak or in his vest, there's a lot of patterns in here. The stitching is terrific. Underneath you can see his armor, which is made out of plastic, but I love the fact that it's like that, because otherwise if it's like an actual chainmail, that would be damaged, I think, over time if you're holding it. Would be nice though, but I would say they would be expensive as well, and also difficult to pose and maneuver, because if you hold them, that would constantly move. And look at going down here, it's I like the fact that they're thinking about longevity, and at the same time the effects of it on the figure. So by using rubber, for example, for his arm guard, it's one piece and it doesn't have that you know, like in his shoe, you saw those straps in his shoe. They're real straps, because you're not gonna use them a lot. You're not gonna hold his shoe a lot, so it's okay to have mixed media in there, you know, something with a more delicate, I would say, material. But on his hand, which is ideally you would change hands and all that stuff, and that's the one you're gonna move a lot, you know, putting weapons in, doing with poses and all that stuff. They chose a material like those hard rubber that would not deteriorate over time, and that's one thing that I do like about Asmus. Is they're, even with their Devil May Cry back then, they're thinking about the future. Like they have a new material of pleather that would last at least 10 years, at the very least 10 years, and that is amazing. And looking back down here too, you see those straps. They are sculpted as well, so they're not real straps, which is good, because otherwise I would probably break them. Let's just be honest here. And look at the shoe right there. There's a nice amount of scuff, and I compared it to the other shoe. It's different kind of scuff too, so it's not just, they made a constant effort not to make it you know, similar. And as far as the head sculpt, I think it looks great. The head sculpt looks great. Now the hair is always tricky. Once it's out of the box, you gotta fickle with it a little bit. You know, the hairline, you kind of have to hide it a little bit. That, you know, that's the beauty and also the drawback of rooted hair. Typically rooted hair are more expensive figures, you know, because it's more tricky and all that stuff. But I think they did a terrific job on this rooted hair. The same thing that they did with Gimli, which is I'm really happy about. The difference is he doesn't have a helmet. So I think his hair is better without a helmet compared to Gimli, even though I like both. And I also like the fact that you can see his hair. There's different shades of it. It's just the same way in the movie. Now his hair is a little puffy. You know, out of the box, so you gotta flatten it out a little bit with your fingers. You gotta play with it a little bit, you know, to make it look right. And I think I did it kind of okay here. You know, I could still do a little better. That's always been my weakness, is the you know, fixing rooted hair. As much as it's easy or no work whatsoever if it's sculpted hair, rooted hair gives it a little bit a different dynamic if it's done right, and I think they did it right here. And also Gimli, with Gimli they even went one step further with the beard, which is rooted beard as well. So but I'm happy overall with how it turned out. The face sculpt is terrific as well. You know, under certain lighting, it really, so as you can see here, I'm playing around with the light. You know, at first I used the yellow light, and now it's the white light, so just giving you different perspective on how you can light this figure up so it would look great. And you can see an under, because if you put the light directly in front of him, you won't see the details on his face. You know, it's gonna be overpowered. So I'm playing around with the lights here. You can see the shadows under his eye, and I think it looks like the actor. I think it looks great as well. And also for the price, it's only like $200 on Big Bad Toy Store. With this type of figure, that is a steal. And as you can see here, he does, it's a bit tricky, I'm not gonna lie to you, to put in on his scabbard. So you got his vest here. I removed the vest initially just to study it, but you know, I'm gonna show you right here. So the vest is supposed to go underneath that, all that fur. So underneath there is a hole in here. So if you look closely, you see a hole above his shoulder on both sides. So I guess you can put his scabbard or sheath on either side, but to be movie accurate, we're gonna put it on the right shoulder. So you're just gonna kind of thread it in here, and also there's a hole, so you can see here. So it is not gonna go over the fur, but underneath the fur. But the actual scabbard itself is kind of pushing up the fur. You can see it right there. So that's how it should look like. I kind of got a glimpse of it again when I watched The Hobbit partially yesterday. And then there's a hole on the seam. You can see there's a seam on the side where it has stitching. Asmus did a great job of concealing that hole by putting it on the seam. So it's so good that you can't even find it. So I looked closely, I picked up the figure, removed the jacket, and I found the hole. Once you stretch it out, you'll find it. It's mostly underneath his armpit, but on the waist side. And like I said, it's on the seam. You kind of push it up there and insert this inside. And I've seen some reviews saying that, you know, when they got this, you just have to snap both, and they said that they're having trouble. I had a pretty easy time snapping this sheet into that. So there's like 3 buttons, and then not buttons but holes in it that you're gonna line up and just kind of like press them together, and you mostly put it inside there, which is really easy in my opinion. And the material that they use, like I said, if this was pleather, like those hanging out pleather kind of thingy, oh man, this would deteriorate because of the weight of the actual sword itself. So there you go, you just push it around together, all 3 of them, and they would just snap in easily. And you can see the hair right here. If you just play around with it, his hair is intricate as well, different shades, and there's on the 2 sides it's braided. So look at this pose right here. He is poseable as well. Now on the first try, if you pick him up, his arms might not move that freely, but once you gotta hold it on the shoulder ball joint, because all Asmus figures, most of them like ratchet joints, and they do it on purpose so that when they hold the weapon over time, they're not gonna sag off or just, you know, go down on its own, wear and tear and all that stuff. But they do move around. Trust me, they do move around. So you can see this pose. He's about to be attacked, and he's grabbing his sword from his back, and his legs are, you know, you can spread him apart. Even though, you know, he's a dwarf, and mostly they're not really agile. They're just like Gimli, like a tank, you know. But with that being said, he could still, you know, move around. You can still move around this figure and all that. Gimli, you know, I haven't had Elrond yet, and I wish I would, you know, one of these days. And I heard good things about Elrond, but so far, and like I said, I feel like I've said this over and over, but every time that they release a new figure, it feels like the best figure that they released as of yet. But Gimli, I just reviewed Gimli, maybe I posted it a week ago, and now him. So from Gimli, I was extremely satisfied. It felt like a DX figure that I was taking out, like a deluxe figure. But this one feels the same exact way with the outfit, but for $200 though. That is the big difference. $200, you get a rooted hair. Outfit is top notch. You can't sneeze on the accessories. You got 2 swords, the shield, pipe, and the key. I mean, what more can you ask for really about this figure? And this is him like fighting. I'm putting him in Azog's place right now, because I really wish Asmus really takes a look at Azog. That him and Lurtz, man, that is a day 1 pre-order for me if they ever release those 2. But for now, Gothmog would do. You know, he has white skin as well. So here he is, like hammering down on Thorin, and Thorin blocking it with his oaken shield. In the background right there, they say the mist. So I just want to show you the different types of, if you display options that you have with him, how versatile he is when it comes to his accessories, and also the movement that you can do with his articulation is just infinite. There's your imagination would run wild as far as like holding this figure. And here he is with Gimli. There you go. So you can see there's a snowy is that mortar, I think, in the background, or Erebor or something burning in the back. Here it is with Gimli. You can see this height comparison. He's a little bit taller than Gimli. That I would say. I don't know if it's a coat, perhaps, because Gimli's outfit is kind of form-fitting on him, but for the most part, it's in good scale. And here is Frodo, again with Thorin right there. Thorin's obviously a little bit taller because of the base, but even without the base, I'm telling you, he is a lot taller than Frodo, and Frodo is leaning up against him because he doesn't have a base. And anyone that has Frodo, he has a little bit trouble standing up. I don't want to risk it. He could stand up though on his own, but I just don't want him falling on his face and damaging his nose. And here he is with a regular 1/6 scale figure in Gimli. As you can see, that's a good size as well, because the dwarves are small, but they're not hobbit small. They're also stocky. And I can't, tonight I'm gonna rewatch the movie again. But you can see here he is with Gimli. I mean with Gimli, the wizard. Forgot his name now. Gandalf. There you go. But there you go, guys. This is Thorin from the Hobbit from Asmus Collectibles. Go ahead and check out their channel. If you are a Lord of the Rings fan, I would say this is a must-have. I already missed out on Bilbo. He was on sale once at Big Bad Toy Store. Just kicking myself from not getting him. That would have been a good companion for Thorin. But don't wait till this guy sells out. I highly doubt that Asmus is gonna revisit them. I talked to them. Every once in a while, they're gracious enough to answer my questions, and they have a lot of figures on the horizon. So don't sleep on these kind of figures with him, Éomer, like the figures that are not per se the main characters like Aragorn and stuff, because they might not make them again. And you might have the Witch King problem down the line where they're gonna be $400 on eBay. So don't sleep on them, guys. Like, this guy is just an amazing figure, and you're gonna get your $200 worth. I can tell you that right now. And once again, if you have any questions, put it on the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this figure, and also please subscribe to that channel if you haven't done so. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and follow me on Twitch. And thank you for watching, and I would see you guys in the next review.